YouTube, you got work to do. What's good, y'all? This is JTE Entertainment, where we focus on money, business, finance, relationships. We bundle those things in together because we want to change the culture and we want to change that mindset. So around the end of October, I shared on my Journey to Entrepreneurship Facebook page that I recently purchased my first multi-unit. There were a lot of people, congratulating me, those types of things. But there were also people that was wondering about the process, having questions about how to get started, and what was that experience like. So I want to go ahead and do that, and for one, show receipts, be transparent in this process. You have a lot of people saying that, you need to do this and do that, and they have not done it. And they're feeding you information that they wouldn't do themselves. But I don't want to be that person that, if I say something, especially if I want to promote that, hey, you could do this, I know you guys want to see it. So I'm on my way currently there, just to show y'all. And I do apologize. I know it's been a minute since I posted. The reason being, when I first started the process of looking into rental property, that type of thing, I contacted my granddad. And I mean, if y'all know me, y'all know I'm crazy about my granddad. And he was the one, first of all, that he instilled my core values in me, staying in the word, praying, making sure that I take care of my family and my work ethic. And so he was the one that kind of introduced me to rental property, and that was the first person that I saw firsthand deal with rental property and how to screen tenants and those types of things. So the very first part of me doing the rental stuff, I included my granddad. I was asking him questions, getting his opinion and getting that wisdom from him. A couple of days after I talked to him about the property, because at this point he didn't even know I had purchased it or was thinking about purchasing. This is like the very first steps. A couple of days after that, he was in the hospital, so it was very hard to get a hold of him. I would talk, because I'm used to talking to him 2 to 3 times a week, just to talk. And man, it went from 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But he was in the hospital. Then he got transferred to a rehab because, he was doing better. And something happened at the rehab and they sent him back to the hospital. But at the hospital, I was actually there, and I could actually, talk to him. And I stay about 3 hours away, so I can't, pick up and go like I want to. But I was there, and I was able to talk to him, and, it was cool. We talked about family. We didn't talk about business or anything. We were just talking about us, and we was talking about family. But unfortunately, that was the last conversation I had with him. He passed away a couple of days after Thanksgiving. And so, man, I really just didn't feel like recording, because, man, I would get in that mood and I would know I would have to talk about rental property And I couldn't do that without thinking about my granddad. It's still fresh, but you know, I'm getting better at discussing it without man, having those good memories and knowing I'm not able to talk to him anymore. So I do apologize. I was trying to be consistent with putting videos up like once or twice a week. But man, when I got to my rental stuff, I just didn't feel like doing it. But fast forward, I'm on my way to the rental property. And again, what I want to show you, I have an office space there that I'm using for something else. And one of the tenants moved out, and I had my crew come in and clean. So I'm gonna check on that, see what that looks like. And that'll be a good time to give you, the viewers, a look inside the apartment and that type of thing right there. So I'm on my way there now. And I'll give you guys a small tour. Okay, I pulled up. My office door is wide open. So I need to make sure if it was something that I did or if we may have a little intruder. I'm in a concealed carry state, so I stay strapped. But that's not something I want to just come out doing. I just think that that's rather strange. I'm gonna put the camera down for a second so I can holster my weapon correctly. Okay, area is clear. Looks like I probably didn't lock it up good, but I will lock the top lock just in case. But I could have sworn I locked it up good. Looks like I probably didn't lock it up good and the wind probably got it. Nothing is missing. I'm using the space just to kind of hold some of my cleaning supplies and stuff like that. Over here as well. And just supplies for the apartment. I'm holding this space for my commercial cleaning company and just to have some extra space for the for the apartment stuff, for the apartment equipment. That just kind of gave me a little, it did storm yesterday pretty bad. I probably didn't lock my door good, especially if nothing is missing or it doesn't even look like anything was tampered with. Because this is pretty much it's not too much of a crazy neighborhood. Well, I don't think. I wouldn't have bought it if it was too crazy. But this is the office space right here. The guys that came in, there was a, there we go. There was a hole or like a crack or a leak through the ceiling. My guys patched that up. They repainted the whole place. It looks wonderful. Really didn't even to do anything with the floors. And this is the bathroom. Small little bathroom area we have here. My wife insisted that we put a new toilet in. She didn't want to use the same toilet, so I was like, all right, I gotta put money to put an extra toilet in the office for a place that she's probably not gonna be in except once a year. I'm gonna be honest with you. But yeah, that's it. This is the office right here. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure this thing is locked up good. And then I'm going to show y'all the vacant area. This unit has recently become vacant. I got my crew to come in and just do an all-around good clean, get all the trash and stuff out, everything like that. As you can see, this is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, very, very basic. Let's see here. So this is the bedroom right here. Now, for the cleaning crew, I'm gonna come in. I may have to paint, because as you can see, there's some damage right there. Patch up and paint right there. Let's see if y'all see it. There's a little mirror right there in the bathroom. Nice, just basic tub shower. This looks all right. Doesn't look like anything that I need. Doesn't look like anything that I need to fix. The cleaning crew did say that there was that the sink was stopped up. So I'm gonna get one of my guys to come in and check on that. But they did a really awesome job cleaning it up, making sure everything was good. Really nice closet space in here. You can put a lot of stuff in here. Really nice for a 1-bedroom. And again, we got the kitchen area over here. Stove. I may see about seeing if I can raise this up. Raise that up and then see if I can put a microwave here. I don't know if I could do that or not, but I'm going to see about that because I think everybody needs a microwave. I think that'll add a little value, a little more value to since it's only a 1-bedroom. And with the space being so small, I think I can do that and add value to it and justify a rent increase. And as you can see, this is the one thing I really don't like, this fridge just out in the open like that. I do not know if, and like I said, I don't know if I could make a hole here and slide the fridge in, because there is a lot of space back here, but I don't know what's behind this wall. So there is a lot of space back here. I don't know what's behind the wall. It could be the units behind it. But I'm gonna see if I could do that, and just so we can add again more space in here, just to kind of utilize the space as much as possible. But one perk that I do see is a washer and dryer hookup right here. So we do have a washer and dryer hookup with the plug and everything. So I'm going to see. Well, I'm going to see about purchasing a stackable washer and dryer. I think that'll be another perk. So the future tenant doesn't have to worry about purchasing this new place and then purchasing a washer and dryer. It'll be right here, and it'll be a reason for me to go up on the rent. But as you can see, it is very, very, it's small. So this is something for somebody that's a bachelor, somebody that just, moved out their mom and them house and they want their own space. Or somebody that's just starting over, which again, there's nothing wrong with that either, but this is a real small space, but it looks good. The floors look great. I don't need to do too much. And the previous tenant, he did take care of it. I was disappointed to see him leave, but he was purchasing his new house. He was building up his, he's building up his, he's coming into himself, and he got approved for a house. He found a really nice house, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go ahead and go." And I was like, "Man, really?" Because he was a good tenant. He paid early. And I was like, but I understand. But like I said, it's just a little stuff that I'm gonna have to do. The big thing is seeing about what I'm gonna do with this fridge right here. If I can do this fridge, if I can move that fridge back in there, or make it to where I can kind of separate the kitchen from the living area. You know, if I could separate the kitchen from the living area, I think that'll be good because it's already separate from the, of course, from the one bedroom. But if I could do it from the kitchen, that'll be good. So I do see that the video is running a little long. So this may be a one part, and then I'll do the 2-part when I get back to my office. So this first part, I just want to walk y'all through, see one of my units that is available and what I plan to do with it. In the second part, I'll be in my office. I'll be in my other office, showing you my process or explaining my process, and just I want y'all to picture my mindset of what I was thinking and why I decided to go with a multi-unit versus a single family property, and that whole like the financing process, finding a realtor, finding the property, and that type of stuff. So I will see y'all at my office, and I'll be explaining that process. I'm out. What's good, guys? This is part 2 of my process of buying my first multi-unit. So the very part 1, if you haven't seen it, the link will be down at the bottom. It goes, I basically show my receipts, right? We got people that are on these channels that tells you to do these types of things and they give you this advice like they're actually doing it, but they're not, right? So I wanted to show y'all my office, and I wanted to go over there and show y'all an empty, a vacant unit, which I just got a call today. They saw that it was open, and I don't even have to promote it. So they saw it was open. I told them how much the rent was. I told them when it'll be available. They were okay with that. So it's probably going to stay vacant until for about 5 or 6 days, to be honest with you. And I'm right back into it's getting right back into rotation. So this is part 2 though. So I want to explain my process, my what's going on in my head with everything. So the first thing was like, why a multi-unit versus a single family unit? I saw some houses that were for sale, but if I decided to rent them, I don't think I would have gotten the return on investment from a single family unit as I would have on the multi-unit. Reason being, with the multi-unit, you have one piece of land, right, that you're making money off of each door. I have more doors on one piece of land versus having a single family unit where it's one door on one land and I'm only making one type of income, right? So that was one of the main reasons why I decided to go with a multi-unit. One of the other factors, I was looking at the housing market. So what I saw in the housing market, that my opinion, again, this is my opinion, that the single family homes were significantly overvalued, right? My house went up a lot, almost double what I paid for it, right? And that's not even adding extra things to my house. My other property, it went up like 40 or 50. So, and I'm like, and versus a few years ago, I'm like, nah, like I'm just not buying it. So for me to, so if I were to purchase a single family unit, right, I would have to make sure that I put enough money down and to cover the rent and to pay me for my trouble for renting that unit out. So if I decided to go with the single family unit, my rent would have to be a little outrageous, right? And in my market and in my town, I don't think people would pay
A lot of people wouldn't pay over $1,000 for renting a single family unit. I could be wrong, but my whole goal is to get a unit, get it rented out as fast as possible to the right person. So I would be wasting. I feel like I would be wasting money and resources, putting all that effort into renting out a single family unit if I'm only going to basically make over $1,000, just a little over $1,000 on it. And another thing, my prediction was right too, because let me pull you to this article. Zillow to exit its home buying business, and it cuts its staff 25%, right? So what this is, Zillow, if you don't know, they promote or they show home listings for you, right? But earlier, I think it was this year, Zillow got into the market of buying homes sight unseen using some type of AI through a program they have called iBuyer. So what they would do, they would buy the house, right? They'll just say that you register for this iBuyer program, and I think they started this in Arizona. They started this in Arizona, I believe. You would register for this iBuyer program there, put in the number of beds, bath, the square footage of your house, and this AI would determine how much they would pay you for your house. Again, sight unseen, right? So they would pay you the value of your house plus 25%. So, and if y'all are thinking forward, you can see where this is going and why they decided and why they ended it. So they would buy it 25% more than what the house is worth, and then they would go in and renovate it and try to sell more and try to upsell it some more, right? Well, you can see how how that's not a good idea. Reason being, let's take a look. So its quarterly earnings report on Tuesday, and this is back in November of 2021. It says that it will see a total write-down of more than $540 million as a result of its exit from the business, which buys homes and resells them. So as a result of shutting down Zillow office, the company said it'll be cutting some 2,000 jobs. Man. So last month, the company said it was halting new purchases of homes because supply chain disruptions and the labor shortage was causing a backlog on the homes it was renovating and preparing for sale. However, the company said on Tuesday that the $340 million inventory write-down it recorded in the third quarter from its home segment, which includes Zillow offers, was because it bought homes during the last quarter for prices higher than it believes it can sell them. So guys, I mean, and I'm not the smartest person in the world, but you could see that a lot of these homes were overvalued, right? So Zillow, and I don't know whose idea this was, man. These are people that are running major corporations. Their idea was to buy a house more than what it was worth, renovate it, and then sell it more. So me thinking that doesn't make sense, because what if the house was just recently built? What if it doesn't need any renovations that would exceed that cost of what you're trying to sell it for, right? So I didn't think that was a good idea. I mean, if Zillow wanted to buy one of my homes for 25% more, I would have been like, cool, like I'm gonna pocket that and move to another place to where the housing market is cheaper. Shout out to Albany, Georgia. If y'all don't know, go look at some of those houses at Albany, Georgia. Even though it's a college town, in a small town, man, those houses there are cheap, like cheap. But yeah, so that was my thinking of, and I'm gonna make sure I have this article in the link below. Excuse me. But that was what I wanted to do. Like, I saw that, I was like, I think I would go with multi-units. And so when I was seeing that the housing was the single family homes was significantly overvalued, I did check on multi-units, right? So one of the websites that I go to is loopnet.com, and they show commercial properties, multi-units, medical properties, land that's for sale. Like they have an abundance of inventory on there. And so I was looking at it, and I remember prices from like 2019, 2016, or no, I'm sorry, 2019, that they still had, and it was the same price, that they did not change. And I don't know why that was, but I was seeing a lot of the commercial property that was for sale, they didn't go up, right? It was a constant price. So that made me aware of that the commercial property really isn't affecting, it really isn't changing that much. And so it's not fluctuating like one year was right here, then the next year it's up here, right? It was constant. So that's what I kind of like to see, especially when I'm investing, because what I did not want to happen, I didn't want to invest and buy a single family home and I'm upside down on it. That's what I was telling some of my people too. Like, if you're buying a home this year, make sure you put a lot down on it. Just don't do that 3% or something like that. Make sure you put a lot down on it to make sure you're not upside down, and make sure that you get an appraisal on it to make sure that you do have equity in it as you're moving in, because that is a good sign. If you already got equity purchasing that property, moving in, that's a good sign. Because you don't want to be upside down, because this market is crazy. It's not the '08 market, right? This is totally different. So that was one of my reasons. Those were the main reasons why I decided to go to move forward with the multi-unit. So the next thing is finding a house, right? Ooh, so there weren't a lot of multi-units available. So I found in my area, like there were like 3 or 4 that were only available. And my mindset, I'm like, ain't a lot of people gonna be looking at these properties. So I was dead wrong. Uh, it was like a group of investors that the realtor, like they met up, like we met at the same time so we can view the properties at the same time, so we wouldn't keep disturbing the tenants. So I mean, I was kind of like, man, I'm a little fry here, because these dudes, I mean, if somebody looked like they had money, these dudes looked like they had money. So they would go in, they would look around, peep around, and walk out and look at ask questions to the realtor, and she would answer them and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, I really didn't want to seem like I didn't know what I was doing. Because it was my first time, so I wanted to seem like I was one of those dudes. But yeah, it almost was intimidating, because you don't know if you're gonna have a bidding war, or if you're going to be lowballing, and they not pay you any mind. So it was 2 properties that I really did like. One property, I was like, I really want this property, and then it was another property that I was like, I can see the potential for this property in like 5 years. So it would be a good idea for me to get this property as well. So I went to both of the properties, and I made 3 offers, right? So the property that I really liked, I made a really good offer on it. The second property that I was all right with, I made a all right proposal on the bid on it, offer on it, and I justified my reason for the offer because I did see some issues with it, like I could see those issues. And then I made a third offer, was with me combining, because the same dude that was selling them owned both properties. And I made a offer with combining, like if I get both of these, I'll get both of these properties for this price, right? So I think we waited a couple of days, and he came back with the offer on the property that I have now, that I showed you. Later on, though, I think about 2 or 3 weeks afterwards, he asked me if I wanted to buy the other property that I had originally placed the other offer on. And I was already in that process, and I would have to start over with that, and it was very like I was tired. So I was like, nah, I'm gonna stick with this one. I don't wanna deal with that property right there because of the process. And so that's what I want to talk to you about next. That seems like a good segue into it. The process, getting qualified, right? So when I say nobody, apparently everybody in the real estate world, they know everybody, right? Nobody knew me. So they were wondering who in the world I was, why am I interested in purchasing these properties, and what other properties does he own? Like they were wanting to know more about me than anything, right? So, but what I did do, I did go to different banks, and just check out rates, right? Um, it was two banks I was going back and forth on, but one bank really legitimately seemed like they wanted my business. And that's one thing too. I called people that I knew that I had some, not like a best friend relationship with, but I called people that I knew that we were associates, and I was telling them what I was doing. They never called me back, like never called me back. And one thing about me, I like to, if I'm making money, I want the people I know to make money, right? So if I know that you're a realtor and I see you doing it, like I want us to come up together. I don't like dealing with people. I don't like dealing with new people. I want to deal with people that are established and that I know will do things. If same thing with the banker. If you're a banker, I know that you're a banker. Let's break bread together. We don't have to, almost like we're competing against one another. And man, I hate that. And I'll do a segment on that about the black dollar and that kind of stuff like that. And it's not always a black or white thing, but if I see somebody that I grew up with and they're doing it, they're in real estate or they're lending or anything like that, I'm gonna try to give them my business. If I see you at a flower shop, you have a flower shop, I'm gonna try to give you my business. But a lot of people, man, I made a lot of calls. A lot of people didn't call me back. So I only work with the people that wanted to work with me. So I went with one bank and he told me the process, guys, you're not going to believe this. So fairly simple, like 1 or 2 years tax return. I had to show that I did have the money in the bank to make the down payment, and the credit score, believe me or not, the credit score was only 600. I only needed a minimum 600 credit score. So that's crazy because with a house, if I'm purchasing a house to live in, I have to have a much higher credit score. Versus if I'm using it as a business, if I want to bring money in, they only require 600. So I was, I'm like, yeah, I can do that all day. That's cool. I didn't know that. But yeah, they only require 600 credit score, 2 years of tax returns, and you showing that you have that money in the bank to make that down payment, and probably a little extra as well because for closing costs and all the other kind of stuff, right? So I do want to touch on so one thing too on the 600 credit score. Just because you have that 600 credit score, or at least a 600 credit score, doesn't mean that you're going to have to, if you have any derogatory marks on your credit score, you're still going to have to explain that. My credit score was not a 600. It was a lot higher, but I still had stuff on there from when I lost my job back in 2016 or 2017 that I thought I cleared up that I didn't. And so when I saw that, I cleared it up. I wrote a letter and I explained to him what happened. And he was playing ball with me. He was like, well, man, I don't know, man. We want to make sure that we're responsible. And I was like, okay. I said, well, how about this? I create a new account with you. I move one of my business accounts over there, and we automatically draft. And I guess that's what he was hinting at, because he was happy to do that. He was like, oh yeah, we can do that. So, I guess a little bit of it is playing ball with these people too. But But yeah, so I got approved for that, and then I did have to find my own realtor. Again, I had a realtor that kept asking me to purchase my house. Like, she wanted to sell the current house that I was in, and like, she has been hounding me for like a year and a half. So I finally called her and asked her if she wanted my business. She was happy to accept my business, even though I think they're a really big realty firm. Like, because I probably spoke with her one time, and then the rest of her, I don't want to call them assistants, but the other realtors were handling things for her, even though she did not. I'll take that back. She called to check on me to make sure that I was happy with the job that they were doing. So let me backtrack that. So she did call and check up on me, but I never met her face to face. I met her husband when we were closing. But yeah, so after all of that process, the bank was needing certain documentations that the seller was needing to provide, right? And one of the things was an inspection report, an appraisal, how much the house, just to make sure that it's a good investment. Because when you're purchasing property, especially if you're getting financing from a bank, they're going to want to make sure that it's profitable. So like, they wanted a rent roll. They wanted to make sure it was fully occupied. They wanted to see their tax returns, also to make sure that they were reporting what they were earning. They just weren't cooking the books to make it seem like it was a profitable business, right? So we did that, and one thing that I think they didn't like that I did was I got an inspection report on it. That's an inspection report is something that you always do, especially when you're buying a single family home. But they never heard of it because they never heard of it on a commercial side, right? Because you bring your contractor in, and your contractor will come around and look and inspect it as you're inspecting it as well. But I'm gonna always get an inspection report, and I'll tell you this: it saved, it knocked off some of the things that I didn't see that the inspector saw. I was able to knock off $10,000 on the final purchase price, because I was going to get those things taken care of. So we were able to do that, and then the closing, happened a couple weeks after. But yeah, that was the process. I saved up money to make sure that I did have, and you can go to like a calculator. The bank will usually want to do 10-15% down. Sometimes the banks, it was another bank that wanted like 25% down, right? And you could do your research to see how much you can afford on that as well. But saved up money, made sure my credit was straight, made sure I had my 2 years tax returns, because again, it was a little difficult because it was my own business that I was reporting as well. So I have my own business, and I have a 9-to-5 as well. So I was reporting both of those incomes. So one income was my 9-to-5. He could easily prove that. The other one was my business, and he had, again, he'd never heard of my business, and I said it's under a franchise, and I get my insurance through such and such. And so he remembered, he knew that guy's name of who I said I got my insurance through. So, and again, guys, it's always good to network. It's always good to know people, because once he realized that, he said, yeah, I used to work with him at that particular bank. And I said, yeah, I used to work at that bank too. And he was like, really? He said, man, what did you do there? I told him what I did, and he was like, oh man, that's cool. So we had a connection there, and so that kind of made it easier for him to trust me, because he knew I kind of worked in the banking world a little bit as well. So man, network too. And I mean, at the end of the day, I wanted to work with the people that I knew, but I did make some new, meet some new people, meet some new associates, meet some new people that was wanting to do business, that's willing to do business with me again. They call to check up on me. Every time I go to the bank, man, they calling me by my last name. I'm like, what? I ain't never had that before. They always like, oh, what can I help you with? Nah, they calling me by my last name now when I walk in there. So, so that's kind of cool. But that was my process. What I'm gonna be doing, because I have a few more projects going on with that building, with that multi-unit. I'm gonna be just doing updates on it. I think I have a city inspection coming on, and I want to update you guys on some of the work that they're doing, some of the plumbing work. I'm gonna knock some trees down, and I'm gonna show you the process of how I'm getting a tenant in. Oh yeah, one more thing. I'm sorry. One thing I did have trouble with was finding a program, a property management program, because I was going to do the property management myself, but I wanted a program so I can keep up with who's paying rent, how much down, those types of things. So right now I'm going through avail.co. They seem, price wise, it seemed reasonable, and it seems user friendly. It was another one, I can't even think of the name, but I told them it was horrible. Like, I couldn't do anything. Everything else, it seemed like everything that I wanted to add, I had to pay for. Versus Avail, it was clear cut, and whatever I needed, I was able to get it done. And also, so after I did purchase the property, I had to get the power and everything over in my name, those types of stuff. And I had to notify and introduce myself to the tenants that were there. And so what I did, I introduced myself, and I let them know that nothing's going to change as far as the rent for this lease. So whatever lease that they had, it's going to continue. I'm not going to go up on the rent on them. Now, moving forward with new leases, I will go up on the rent, but for the current tenants, that will not happen. And as I was introducing myself and reassuring that I'm not going to go up on the lease, I had a copy of the current lease, and I verified everything, verified their security deposit, verified how much they were paying in rent, verified the numbers, verified the email addresses, and I sent them a new lease with the same information on there, because it was going under my business then. Trying to think of, was there something else? I think that was it. Yeah, so as I was introducing them, I asked them again, was there anything going on with their apartment? They did say, some folks was like, nah, other folks was like, yeah, this needs to be done. I got it done next week. They were like, thank you. This seemed like they were very, very nice. And that's about it. I think that's about it. I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything here. I think that's it, guys. But yeah, I'm gonna be updating y'all on the property, and if I'm purchasing any more, I will definitely do a video on that as well, just to kind of continue growing. And I want y'all to go out there and do it too. Again, because I'm a regular guy. There is nothing extraordinary about me. I am not the smartest person in the room. I'll probably look. I didn't graduate top of my class in high school. I definitely didn't do it in college, right? I'm a regular Joe. But I just want y'all to know that regular Joes are out here doing it. So if you're a regular Joe, you can do it too. All right. So this is JTE Entertainment, and I am out.